unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I got a question for you. What makes you so fucking great? What makes you so awesome? What makes you good? Are you a good person? Are you a great person? Are you special? Are you fantastic? Are you awesome? Are you better than me or worse than me? Who are you better than and who are you worse than? Who, out of all the people, if you ranked all the people in the world, where would you come in your goodness? Are you a saint? Are you a terrible person? Are you a tyrant? You know? What have you done? What do you do that makes you good? Huh? Are you funny? Do you make people laugh? Do you make people think in a good way? Do you make people happy? Do you make them feel good? Do you pay for lunch a lot? Are you a good tipper? Do you gossip about people? Do you talk shit about them? Do you make people feel stupid? I do. I do that all the time. I call people names, call people idiots. I'm not a good person, okay? This isn't about me. I'm not a good person. I barely qualify as. I mean, I'm not a terrible person, but at best, I'm neutral, you know? It's better it's better than being outright terrible, but going above and beyond and being actually good, no. I'm not good, you know? What have I done? Not much, honestly. I've stayed out of people's way. That's good. I wish people would stay out of my way. So, I mean, it's good type thing. Here, let's just measure. Let's just figure. Are you better than Dr. Phil? Better or worse? I would say that Dr. Phil is probably better than me. Because he's just the amount of people with, I mean, whatever his motives are, he's probably selfishly motivated. But the fact that a lot of people think that he's helped them, he's certainly probably got more people that think he has been helpful to them than I do. You know, Dr. Phil, Oprah, I don't know, better than, worse than? Did she fuck up the world, you know, with her prize giving? Is she completely self-centered, or did she edify people? Did she sell a lot of books on her thing and make a lot of authors and their families rich, you know, with her Book of the Month Club? What about Donald Trump? Surely you must be better than Donald Trump. You know, he's evil. He's terrible. We know this because the TV tells us that he's terrible every day. You know, that's obvious. I mean, he's a pussy-grabbing, misogynist racist, right? Terrible man. So easy to be better than him. And his failed companies. Oh, those failed companies. The fact that moron would continue after a company fails. You know what I mean? Like he'd start another company. What an idiot. Only losers pick themselves back up and dust themselves off and keep going. All right, I'm being stupid. Let's be serious, though. Are you better than Donald Trump? Am I better than Donald Trump? You know? Do you think you're better than Donald Trump? Do you really think you're better than Donald Trump? Why? Why? What have you done? How many paychecks have you signed? Huh? Have you tried to ever negotiate on behalf of all your countrymen? You know, for good or for bad. I don't know. Who knows how these things are going to turn out with China? But he's trying. Have you tried? Have you tried? Did you help your city build the ice rink? Get the ice rink finished? I don't know. How many paychecks have you signed? I don't know. How much have you given to charity? I'll bet you it isn't as much as Donald Trump, no matter who you are. I know I have a couple very rich friends, and I can't imagine any of them would be listening to this. But even my richest friends, there's no way. I think of them and I go, there's no way they've given as much. I mean, Donald Trump, just by signing over his paycheck every year, like he's not taking a paycheck for being president, he's just giving it to a veterans foundation. Right there, that's way more money than I will ever give in my lifetime to charity. You know what I mean? And he's done that numerous times. It's no big deal to him because of percentage. You know, they like to say percentages. You know, a poor person giving a $50 is giving 50% of everything they have. Donald Trump is giving a tiny sliver and he's writing it off as his taxes and blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, that money or that whatever makes its way to an actual person. And how many people? Way more than me. No matter what. Let's even go for the bad things, the pussy grabbing. So whose pussies did he grab? Girls that probably wanted him grabbed, right? Otherwise they wouldn't have been in the vicinity of Donald Trump. They didn't accidentally end up there, right? Where Donald Trump goes, people follow him. He doesn't go hunting. He doesn't go sneaking into clubs where he's not wanted. Believe it or not. No, he goes where he wants to and people follow him. So, yeah. So even in the fact that he grabbed some pussies, chances are he was grabbing some pussies that wanted to be grabbed. And by the way, I hate that word, but now that he's used it and everybody else has used it, I got to use it too. But he's been divorced 3 times. Yeah, and how much alimony does he pay? He's made a couple women very, very wealthy. That's better than I've done. I ain't provided shit for nobody. I'm a selfish motherfucker. You know? So are you better than Donald Trump? Maybe you're just better than corporate people. Oh, corporations are evil and greedy. Well, that's such an enlightened thing to say. That's proof that you're good because you said that, right? Because they're greedy. Corporations don't have your best interest at heart, Merkley. I don't want them to have my best interest at heart. I don't expect them to. I expect them to make whatever thing they're making well. And if I like it, I'll buy it. Along with all the other people. And if we don't, they will cease to be. Not a big deal. Please don't think of my best interests, corporation. I don't want you to. That's my job. Only my job. And you, person that is telling me this about the corporation and they're evil, does the fact that you identify them as evil, does that make you good? And if I join you on that team in thinking they're bad, do I then become good? If I take the identity as being a hater of evil people, does that somehow make me good? Or do I actually have to do something good? Is it enough to just hate people? That seems too simple to me. I don't know where that little plan came from, that if you fight evil, that makes you good. And I could see it if you were literally fighting evil, like hunting down rapists or whatever, and shooting them in the head and in the back of an alley, putting yourself at great risk. That's fine. You know, but you voting for taxes, does that make you good? Voting to tax the rich, basically steal from them. I'm voting to steal from the wealthiest people and give it to the poor. Does that make you a good person? You're just doing with your vote? You're voting for somebody else to take their guns over and point them at the guy's head and steal him. Wouldn't it be better if you would actually go... I mean, if you really think that makes you good, then why don't you just go on the streets, hunt down Bill Gates, rob him in the streets, force him to sign his bank account over, and then you can distribute it to all the poor people. You know? And of course, if you're going to help the people in Africa, let's say you think you're good because you figured out somebody told you that the 100 smartest or the 100 richest people in the world can solve poverty, you know. And the fact that they don't, that makes them evil, and the fact that you know that makes you good, correct? Am I right about that? The fact that you know that the 100 richest people in the world have enough resources to solve poverty once for all, and they're not doing a goddamn thing. But you would if you were them, right? If you were so lucky that you were one of them, you would, of course, solve poverty. But, of course, you aren't one of them because you're too good to be one of them, I guess. Your priorities are better. But instead, you vote to tax them, have somebody else rob them, and then redistribute that wealth. And then how does that work? Okay, let's go with your thinking. That let's take the 100 richest people and redistribute their wealth. All right? Because all the 100 richest people, they all have gold just stacked under their beds, right? Because they're that's what we're going with, right? It's all extra money. It's not invested in companies. Jeff Bezos. Let's take his money. We look for it in a bank. Oh, it's not stashed in a bank? It's actually invested in his company? Oh, so we take his company away. There goes the UPS jobs. There goes all the jobs for the people selling on there. There goes the internet jobs. All the manufacturers are making stuff that's being sold. That's interesting. So we took his money away, but also we screwed things up for people who were making a decent living. Okay. But you're a good person. You're better than Jeff Bezos. And let's not get trapped up in these weird details of, let's not consider the fact that if we take all of Jeff Bezos' money, let's say that we need to give money to a bunch of people in Africa. Okay? So what do? Let's just drop it there? Is that what we do? Drop the money there? And then how does that work? Do you think that maybe warlords might grab it all? And if there was a cute little kid that was starving and he got a wad of cash, do you think he would keep it for very long? Huh. Well, no, you'd kind of have to stick around in Africa, wouldn't you? And you'd have to contend with the warlords, right? You'd have to take up permanent residence there to make sure that these people who you deem as needing your help, or needing not your help, but needing Jeff Bezos' money, are you going to help that money get to where it needs to be? Are you going to make sure that it purchases rice, that the rice gets made, and it makes it into the mouth of this kid? How are you going to do that? How are you going to make sure that the warlords won't intercept it, or other greedy people won't intervene? How does this utopia, I'm asking you because you're a good person, and only a good person could imagine such a utopia. You don't have to implement utopia in order to be a good person, right? You just have to imagine it and then accuse a rich person of being evil. Because that's what being good means, right? Just identifying rich people and saying that they are greedy and evil. All you've got to do is hate them, and that makes you good. Am I right? Am I following the logic here? Or am I way off base? What am I missing here? I'm asking you because you're such a good person. You're so good. You're so good. And I can tell because only good people are able to identify greedy, rich people. I can tell you're good because you hate Donald Trump. And if I was a good person, I would join you in that hate. I would join your hate parade if I was a good person. You know? I've learned a lot in San Francisco over the last 23 years. See, I was raised in Utah where charity meant you actually go do things like mow somebody's lawn or shovel their sidewalk or help the widow or, stuff where you actually did things. But see, in San Francisco, I learned you don't actually have to do things. All you have to do, you need to just champion good things and complain about why Republicans don't do them. All you have to really do is talk about how Republicans, all you got to do to be good is call other people names. Like, if you call them a racist, that will make you good. If you call them a misogynist, that will make you good. If you call them xenophobic, good. Homophobic, that's good. The more names you call somebody else, the more you identify the evil in others, the better you become. You don't even have to do anything except for display your knowledge and your wisdom in identifying evil and bad people. And if you paint those insults on a sign and march through the streets, that means you're really good. You don't have to go to Africa or India. You don't have to help poor people. You don't have to become a rich person and have the resources to actually write checks or you don't have to go to these places and help people. What you need to do is just vote to send armies there to kill people. And that's proof that you're good. If you will kill somebody, if you will have somebody killed, then you're good. You don't have to do it yourself. Why would you go out and do it when you can just send somebody else to go do it? Send somebody else's child to go die. That's what a good person does. God, I can't believe how many good people I've met in San Francisco and how much they've taught me about being good without having to do anything. Well, I kind of learned that. I was primed for that because one of the good things I learned in Mormonism was that if you pray for good things to happen, then you're a good person too. Like if there's a tsunami and you pray for the victims, then you're good. You don't actually have to send them food or go swim and rescue them out of the water or comfort them. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is pray for them. So it's kind of like there's certain similarities between being good, that old school being good, and protesting. And making sure everybody knows that you know that Donald Trump is an evil, terrible, shameful person. Shameful. I'm glad we're having this talk because, I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to raise myself from zero, which is, I think I'm pretty neutral. I'm neither good nor bad. It's kind of like, it's kind of, what is that? Riding the line? Walking the line? But with your help, maybe I can learn to stop defending bad people. Because I'm probably bad because I always feel like when somebody accuses somebody else of being evil or bad, I have this weird impulse to defend them. I have this weird impulse to make a podcast that asks people what makes them so fucking great. What a terrible thing for me, right? To be skeptical of obviously wonderful people. I mean, where do I come off? If somebody is calling somebody else a racist or a misogynist, how dare I question their judgment of somebody else? If they've made that judgment of that person, it's got to be correct. How dare I second guess and defend that person? If I was good, I would just get my pitchfork out, sharpen it up, and go after that person. I wouldn't ask any questions. It's not what a good person does. A good person joins the mob. Right? You don't second guess the mob. I mean, the mob, they're thinking, I mean, that's how many brains. The group think, there is no way group think could ever possibly go wrong. I mean, the group is always right. 2 heads are better than one. What about 1,000,000 heads? Dipshit. Why are you, I'm talking to myself now, but Merkley, come on. Why are you second guessing the mob? That's not what a good person does. A good person sharpens their fucking pitchfork and goes after the witch. And you don't need to see the witch doing anything. Just listen, if you're a good person, you trust the accuser. You always believe the accuser. Why would anybody lie? Why would anybody make an accusation? People don't project their sins onto others. Merkley, you're insane. No, people, when they call other people terrible things, it's because they're right. They have a magic sense that I don't have because I'm not a good person. You have to be a good person in order to know when someone needs a good lynching. And when it comes time to do that lynching, you can't second guess. You've just got to get the rope. Community, man. It's community. One love. We all need to unite in our hatred. Quit being an outlier. Quit resisting the hatred, Merkley. And you, other second guessers out there who are listening to this. You just need to get on board. Hate Donald Trump. Hate the people that support him. And be a good person. What have we learned here today? Corporations are evil. They could solve poverty in a second. You wouldn't have to do anything. All they have to do is write the check. Then it's done. But they're not doing it because they're evil. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to become rich to solve these problems that they have to solve. They do, not you. Okay? You got that? All you have to do is call people names. Start with racist. That's the funnest one. Start with that one. It's a safe bet. Homophobe is a safe bet too. All right? Are you a better person now? Do you feel like you're a better person? I feel like I'm better. God, I feel good now. I finally realized that being good is all about hating bad people. And being bad and finding out who is bad is easy. All you got to do is find the person who is defending someone who is being attacked. That's a bad person. Defenders are bad. They're defensive. Go with the offenders, man. I'm telling you. Thanks for listening.